Yeah. Earlier, you have talked about discipline, right? This procrastination thing and all that.
Yeah.
So, how exactly do you define discipline? Like, from our childhood, we have been misinterpreted it as, controlling thing or something.
No.
If you are made to sit somewhere, you just have to sit. So, that's how we are taught what discipline is. But what I think is, discipline is something what is necessary at that particular point of time.
Actually, discipline is self-discipline. Self-discipline is you determine what is that you are supposed to do. That is how the discipline has to be. How do you teach somebody else what is self-discipline? Either by somebody else showing that in front of you. Right? Yama, niyama. Yama is non-violence. Niyama is self-discipline. Niyama is that. So how do I make a niyamam? In a school, the teacher has to go and start teaching. I cannot say anybody can come at any point of time. I have to fix a time, then only I can start delivery. Therefore, we say 9 o'clock you have to be there. So, making you to be there at 9 o'clock is a discipline.
Yes.
But assume somebody push you there, you are not getting ready by the time, forcing it. That's why you are saying, my parents asked me to sit there. Because they forced you to do it. But assume you are such a person, you know how to be disciplined, then that is called a self-discipline. So unless you are disciplined by somebody else in your childhood, how do you know this is how it is to be? That's what I'm saying. Either you have to see your parents doing it, right? Suppose in your house everybody finishes dinner and then you know where the plate is to be kept, you know it is to be washed and kept, you make the house clean. This is a discipline which you have to learn from your parents. Assume you don't learn, then what will happen? You will never learn it. When you go to somebody's house, you will also may not to do that. So therefore, it is parents who will force you to learn such discipline so that you become fit for
Self-discipline.
that is what self-discipline. Suppose you don't have self-discipline, somebody imposes, it's always arrogance. This fellow is arrogant, he started imposing on me. Assume you know what is punctuality, you want to be there punctual, then nobody is going to ask you that you have to be punctual. It is part of your everyday job. Suppose you don't become and somebody force you to become, you feel that fellow is very strict, he won't ask me to sit there at right time.
Yes.
Understood? So that practice we don't have. That is why sometimes I don't like this Hinduism at all, because they are mostly indisciplined.
Right.
That is because every Christians have to go to church. There is a discipline. You must see the way they say it.
Exactly.
There is the order is there. Where do we see such order in temples?
No.
It's all disorder.
Not even in line.
They don't even clean. It's so dirty. Every item which is supplied in temples are so awkward. But you can see how clean and neat and disciplined and fantastic place a church is.
A church and a Muslim also, however busy he is, he must go to a mosque.
And they have a right time. You can see people running and attending there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
They have that.
And they wash their legs. Without washing, they don't enter.
They don't enter.
Yeah. So
We have
probably we believe that it is self-discipline which is to be practiced. There it is imposed discipline. So which is good? Self-discipline is good.
self-discipline.
But there are beautiful places where discipline is created. Suppose you go to Swaminarayana temple in Delhi, you will have to take 300 rupees ticket and then follow discipline. There is a queue, you have to be there, and it's a paid program. Right? So some places you learn it, and probably the style is different because we have dancers, we have songs, we have a lot of Utsavam cannot be disciplined. Utsavam is you are in trance, you are enjoying, and that enjoyment will happen when there is mobility has to be there. So that is entirely different. We can see some disciplined places where they do, right?
Yeah.
So
And
we have to balance somewhere. That is essential. That's why I keep saying a house have to be neat enough to be healthy and untidy enough to be happy. You have to balance. That is the best method. Yeah, little bit here and there has to be, otherwise it is suffocating sometimes. I can go to Dharma's house and then pull chair from one place and sit somewhere else and leave it there and go. But I may not be able to do that if Dharma was a very strict person. The chair has to be there. Don't move it there. Finished. Correct? That cannot be the discipline. Discipline makes you unhappy sometimes. The freedom is essential.
Yeah, I just want to add that what he was saying, sitting at one place, is it that discipline? To that personal extent, I think that is what it is. Like, to resist your temptation to get up when you are required to sit.
Yeah, it's like a practice.
Even in a aeroplane, when they keep shouting that please don't stand, until and unless the plane is, stops moving, people are so restless. That is lack of discipline. And I think I just want to mention that there was some psychological research also somewhere, they tried to experiment with small kids. They were told, separately that there is a candy here, and if you don't eat this candy, I'll give you 2 candies. And, the guy who told, left. And it was done separately, and there were one group of children who could resist the temptation to eat it and wait for the guy to come back and give the reward of 2. And some people, they say that even the guy, before going, they couldn't stop the temptation to, have it. So to resist the temptation, and then after I think 20 years or something, they really went to these kids and saw, how they are doing. And there was a clear distinction that the people who had little discipline or, resisting themselves from temptation were doing far, better in all walks of life compared to those people who couldn't resist. So probably if you want to sit there, you are supposed to sit in the aircraft, it's better to, resist that temptation to get up. So probably, what is not discipline. Probably that is what is discipline.
And also we are highly socialized people. What happens is you look at the people around you and then learn quite a lot. Assume you enter in a hall where everybody is silent. I am sure you are not going to shout as soon as you enter there. But assume you see everybody is continuously talking. When you enter, what will happen? You will also do that. We were doing last year the same time camp in Columbus. Every small child, as soon as they reach there, I made them to lie down upside down, putting the hand like this. That's how I teach them the breathing practice. Every child has to lie down. Maybe parents have complained, people have complained, all that, but they learned the discipline. The second fellow comes, they know, they exactly make that distance and then go there and then lie down. I'm sure that is done. In America, everywhere car parking, the lines are drawn. So everybody knows that that is where they have to park. India, we don't have lines at all. Therefore, you can park wherever you want. Right? So, first you have to make that feel that there is a discipline already in order. Then when you go there, you will also fall in order. Same person from America, they were all following that order. When they come to India, what will happen? Immediately you will change. That will automatically happen. That's like relaxing for people, right? If you don't self-discipline, if you don't become self-disciplined, it becomes problem. That's what I'm saying. But assume that you are in a college or a school, or you go to somebody's friend's house. I'm sure you are not going to lie down on the floor and keep your leg on the teapoy and watch TV. You will not do that. But at home, I am supposed to do that because I have freedom for that. Correct? So it's like you condition yourself because you are a social being. You know where and how you have to behave. So that is naturally within us. So that's quite natural, I think. Good enough for the day?
Yeah.
Anything more to add? Anything more to ask?
Actually, doesn't Sankalpam means determination?
No, Sankalpam is actually your imagination. See, that becomes a determination. Assume that my Sankalpa is to get into IIT for some +1, +2 student, that's a Sankalpa. That means you decide that you are going to be there. That's a shape. Therefore, it becomes a determination. So there is an indirect meaning, but it's not the direct meaning. Direct meaning is imagination. When you imagine you want to become a pilot, that becomes a determination, right? That's how Sankalpa becomes determination for you. Otherwise, direct meaning is not a determination. The contextually, everything can be having different meaning. Especially Indian words contextually have got different meanings.
True.
That is why some words in Sanskrit have 200 different meanings at different places. It is used in different context. So good enough.
Yeah.
Nice
See you next time.
Nice to see you, Dharmaji.
Nice to see you, sir. Nice to
Anu asked beautiful questions. That's how we
Yeah.
started.
Okay, nice.
Chandrasekhar, you could look at my um, Sunday dialogues where Dharma from US was actually, we had lot of discussions. We called it as dialogue on drive. You used to drive, we used to discuss lot of topics. And
Okay.
second session what we had in US was Sunday satsang. There were a lot of questions and answers. And every Sunday we had Ramana Maharshi's and we had Shankara one Sunday. We took a lot of different literature and started learning. I think Binu also have to follow all that. Binu is a good learner, newly added. I'm sure Binu will love all of such discussions. And
Yeah, those are all wonderful sessions.
Yeah.
Maharshi, Gayatri Mantra, Bhagavad Gita.
we used to have a lot of demand. We pick up one and then start one Sunday with that. That is how it was happening. But I think we had a lot of satsang in Dharma's place where there are a lot of questions and answers. That's also there. During drive we had. So Rajita is there. Shilpa is there. Hari's message I have seen just now. Yeah. So good enough. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Anything to add,
That is it.
Shilpa?
No, my only one question is that you to handle all the questions coming to you very easily and we're happy to answer.
Probably most of the questions are already answered by me at different places.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that I have not got any very new question. Probably, yeah, I think most of them, because how many hours in my life I would have done this satsang, classes, talks in temples. How many hours? Maybe quite a lot.
Yeah, I think we don't mind paying, and getting trained.
Yeah, I think you should have satsang. That is the method to learn. Because vocabulary has to come, you must know how to relate things, and then all that will make you into this.
Yeah, I mean, different folks, different background, different thought process.
You remember
And-
we were discussing what Jagan Mohan can do if he become chief minister also, right?
Yeah, that was,
Eh?
that was really, really awesome. I mean, he has all the power, and I was asking what he can do with that power. I mean, he can make it or break it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he made it or break it. I mean, I don't know where he is now after 1 year.
And we had some topic like something which we used a dual word. I don't remember. Comfortably uncomfortable.
Comfortably uncomfortable, happiness versus satisfaction.
Yeah. Comfortably uncomfortable, uncomfortably comfortable.
That's a beautiful dialogue.
So I am comfortably uncomfortable or uncomfortably comfortable is a question to be answered.
Yeah.
Some
yeah.
people are uncomfortably comfortable in politics. Some
Right.
people are uncomfortably comfortable in that politics, because without disturbance they cannot stay. Every day some call has to come, somebody's problem has to come, otherwise they start creating problems.
Okay. Maybe we'll end up discussing on Jagan Mohan Reddy. I mean, what he has done in the last 1 year. Very easy. I mean, since you are very close to him.
See, I keep saying there is some people who are carefully careless, and they
Careful.
yeah, what do they do is they make their hair shape in such a fashion it looks so shabby. For that they spend a lot of time.
Like our brother.
You know, see, they spend so much of time to do the makeup, so it looks like that they have not even combed. To do that, it is a great effort. So that's called careful carelessness.
Yeah, my big brother does that.
Yeah, and you have
He has a nice hair.
and you have a jeans for which you have to wash how many times, and then how much water you have to waste to show that it is totally damaged. And the large quantity of water is used for making a jeans pants.
Yeah, I'm aware
It's
of
a
it.
huge investment on that, and it looks so shabby, for which they spend a lot of money. I think it's all part of our